We decided to pull the plug on it.
It's been 2 years since
We decided to pull the plug on death,
What a journey it's
specifically.
been. With each of our 7 DLC releases, it's been...
Alright, hello there, people. Congratulations for getting here. I know, it's not easy. YouTube, in fact, makes it so that I can't even see the stream warning. So, good job. I'm impressed. And yes, we are in fact early. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it fantastic? It is. So, today's topic, we will start with Creative Assembly deciding to put Total War 3 Kingdoms on sale and then stopping support of it, which is a classic goddamn move. Then we'll move on to talking a little bit about the Lord of the Rings TV show, because that is not being talked about enough, because it's going to be massive. It's made by bloody Amazon. They've got enough money to literally invent actual elves to put in it. So that could be cool, but it's already got some of those worrying little usualnesses. We'll talk a little bit about Joker 2's quote-unquote reveal. And we've got a few games coming out too that are interesting, including Ashes of Creation's developer saying some very heartening things, honestly, on Reddit. So, Creative Assembly. A company that I have long had strong feelings about, from very positive back in the day to perhaps less entirely positive right now. Kyle is, of course, Creative Assembly's simp, so shall we hear from him first?
Yes, the Creative Assembly is a great company, and clearly this move is only to benefit the quality of their games. Yes, what? Just give them more money. Just give.
So the situation as it seems to stand is Creative Assembly put Total War 3 Kingdoms, their China historical, quote-unquote, Total War game, on sale. You do this to attract new customers. It's the only reason why you have a sale, obviously. And then, after having banked as many sales as they figured they could, they then announced that they were stopping all further content support for the game. So no new DLC expansions or anything like that, which is particularly galling since a lot of people had seen stuff like Korea added to the map and figured, right, that'll be next. Well, no, that will not be next. And finally, they also announced, apparently, that they now have a Total War 3 Kingdoms team that will be moving on to a new 3 project, presumably Total War 3 Kingdoms 2, which is not the most elegant of titles.
No. Honestly, this kind of shit is the reason why I hated Total War Warhammer with their whole puzzle thing. Like, oh, it'll combine together to make a better, bigger Total War. And I look at Total War Warhammer 2 and like, it's combined together, and I have all the DLC. And it's even worse than the other Total Wars. What is this piece of shit in my store? Oh. Like, this is not good. 3 Kingdoms was already kind of off to a very rocky start, but I will give it this. It was somewhat entertaining in co-op. Could never play it by myself because modern Total Wars are fucking boring, but it was amusing if nothing else, right? And it was like, yeah, I'll probably play it again when they add Korea and they do the thing they said with like the Northern Expansion where they're hinting at Mongolia and stuff. Yeah, no, I'm kind of interested. Yeah, but then they did this, and I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like, that's dumb. That's absolutely stupid. They're selling a separate game, and the worst part is, on top of that, they already promised us stuff for this game, and it's not even finished. 3 Kingdoms Total War isn't even 3 Kingdoms yet. We're not even to the 3 Kingdoms period. The game itself is a fucking lie. You don't even get to the 3 Kingdoms period.
Amusingly enough. The thing here, too, is, right, it's been out for 2 years, okay, and it's been getting support for those 2 years. Paid support, mind you.
Yeah, expansions, DLCs, little things.
Even that, 2 years. That's not that long in a Total War game's lifecycle, or it didn't used to be that long, but they do seem to be moving into the Total War Warhammer style of doing things, where they'll push out a bunch of DLC, and then they'll actually make Total War Warhammer 2, which they'll charge you full price for. And here's the thing, yeah. In theory, I would not be theoretically opposed to this so long as it actually did give us a bigger, more complete game experience. Because, all right, I get it. You got like 800 mouths to feed now, it's expensive. And making the biggest, bestest Total War game is expensive. I'd point then out quickly that Medieval fucking 2 has more features than modern Total War games. But hey, details, let's ignore that for a second, okay?
Hey, don't give them credit for that. That was mostly probably the Australian team anyways.
True. But the thing is, we see this with Total War Warhammer. They're just adding more factions. Like, they're just adding more DLC content, essentially. They're not reworking siege battles. They're not adding in naval combat. They're not adding in substantial new mechanics. And hell, the mechanics they do add in is the underway. Point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5.
Just reskinned. Every faction has access to it except for like a handful. Like, it's a pointless mechanic. It's like, oh, you play as the Beastman. You can use the forest underway thingy mechanic in the middle of the desert. Like, okay. You play as the dwarves. You can use the dwarven underway in the fucking lizardman land. It's like, okay, I guess dwarves are over here too.
And at some point, we gotta start asking the question, is this actually producing bigger, better Total War games? Like, for my opinion, I don't see them doing that. Like, what could Total War 3 Kingdoms 2 add that could not have been added as an expansion?
Yeah. They already were going to add in Korea. They already hinted at adding in Mongolia. And honestly, they could just keep making expansions. They could even add Japan on, the early pre-samurai era. They could add in all that stuff just as expansions. There's no need to make a new game. That is a pure greed thing. They want to charge $60 again, so that if you want the full complete experience, you have to buy 2 products. So let's say they do Total Warhammer, they make 3 Kingdoms 2 or whatever. Awful fucking name. You were so right.
Rolls right off the
It's fucking I'm having a hard time with that. 3K2. Fuck me. All right. You buy 3K2, and a bunch of new people enter the franchise with 3K2, and then they're hoping they'll go back and buy 3K1. This is a pure corporate greed thing. They want more money, and they don't really give a shit about the quality of the product. And the worst part of it all is, okay, let's say they do add naval combat. All right, fair. That's one thing. But still, most of the heavy lifting is already done. When it comes to making goddamn games, like the game I'm working on, if I were to make a fucking sequel to it, and I was to make it based on the same engine, there'd be some minor tweaks and modifications. So you really have to be like, okay, the amount of content that we're going to add here needs to be justifiable to be a sequel. Like, it's got to be good enough. Total War Warhammer 2 wasn't good enough. That one was not good enough. It's just the same mechanics, principally the same game engine, a lot of reused assets and textures and environmental prop pieces and stuff like that. There's very little new there. If anything, save for the factions. It was just a shitty little reskin. And people paid $60 for that. They ate it up because they're dumber than a box of rocks. And Creative Assembly knows that the casual audience are complete morons and will just buy it anyways. They don't care.
Well, that is actually kind of the interesting thing, because as chat pointed out, the game is currently getting review bombed because they quoted, of course, the Chinese market. And the Chinese market, unlike a lot of us, don't put up with this shit. And every time CA has done anything to annoy them, they have seen the reviews of the game be hammered into the goddamn dirt. Now, it's not much. Does that affect Creative Assembly? Probably not, but it's something. It is a direct consumer action. The problem is, of course, that Steam then immediately goes, this looks artificial. You can't do this. Like, okay, Steam. What other recourse is there? Don't know.
Review bombing is a perfectly justifiable thing. The thing is, if SJWs want to review bomb games, they can, but the people who actually care about the game will always be backing it up and supporting it. Honestly, if you own this game, you might as well give it a negative review now. I did today, purely on principle, because while I enjoyed my time in 3 Kingdoms, I was like, yeah, you know what, it's kind of a guilty pleasure, actually. I have a little bit of fun with it. But now I'm infuriated, because it's like, okay, they're literally scamming us again. Like, why? Why can't they just do their goddamn job without fucking scamming us? Like, they have 800 people working for them. Please, fuck off. Like, I don't even care. They have 800 people. They produce content that's made by, feels like it's made by 1 or 5 guys. Like, it's so shitty and shallow. The music sucks ass. The quality of the combat sucks ass. The balancing's awful. They don't even have a new goddamn engine. They're using the same trash fucking Warscape engine we've been stuck with for how many goddamn years? This is bullshit. This can't be allowed to continue.
Point, though. I will offer one potential defense here for Creative Assembly. If we were to assume that they've finally realized that their latest Warscape engine is a piece of hot garbage and virtually every problem of modern day Total War is in some way related to it. Unit collision, that's the Warscape engine. Terrible goddamn AI, the Warscape engine's limitations. The need to go back to hard scripted diplomacy because your fancy ass AI doesn't work. Warscape engine. Almost all of it can be tracked back to that awful engine, which, I remind you too, was created specifically because it would be modular, and then they killed all of the modding tools. But if we assume that they fucking realize that, I'm trying not to use the F word because YouTube doesn't use it, but
Whoops.
it just pops out automatically. It's such a good word.
It's fun.
It's such a good word.
It's satisfying.
Anywho, if they then actually make a new engine, then you know what? Fine. At that case, I'll be like, okay, you wanted to make the actual Total War Three Kingdoms 2 game, but you needed a new engine to do it. All right. In which case, good, fine. But what are the odds? What are the odds they'll pick this time and a sequel to finally give us a new engine?
That's not going to happen. It's that the thing is, this is cheap. I get what you're going for there, but like I can see the reasoning behind their decision making corporate wise. Like it's so fucking obvious. It's like, all right, we already have this Warscape engine. Our fans are fucking idiots. They just keep buying it. Sure they bitch, sure they moan, but they're dumb little fuckers. They'll just keep buying it, and we are. We're dumb, stupid fucks. We just keep buying it. Oops, I keep swearing. But that shit happens. But we just keep buying it. We're dumber than a box of rocks. Like all of us are. Fuck it.
Yeah, that is kind of the problem. And I am guilty of this too. Like, I've bought too much Total War Warhammer DLC. I have completely stopped now because I'm like, no. And I am not buying Total War Warhammer 3. I don't care that I am, well, used to be at least, literally a full-on Warhammer channel. I don't care. I am not picking up another $60 race pack. And what I want to add too is, like, Three Kingdoms, right? It promised so much. It promised it would actually give us more character personalities as well. That was one of their key marketing jumbos. And what do we see now? It's like, oh yes, 3K2 will focus more on the characters. Every time, these same promises regurgitated, and it never appears. Now, this is the curse of the casual market. All the new people just lap it up, and we're left sitting here like, this is less than I had. Like, even if, as you said, Kyle, they added in naval warfare, cool. We'll get back a mechanic we saw first introduced in Empire Total War.
We'll pay for it. That's the worst part. Now, I am happy to see a lot of people say there is no we. Like, we don't do that. Like, a lot of people don't do that. You guys are good people. You are the heroes that are trying against a, like, the problem is there can be 100 of us, there can be 1,000 of us, there could be 10,000 of us that won't buy it, and that won't matter because the vast majority of people are casuals and they'll just eat that shit up. Like, they really need to step in it. Like with Three Kingdoms, they stepped in it here, and you need to drive that nail home now. When they step in it, you need to put your heel down on their throat and stomp, because now they're down. So if you own their game and you own this game, you should give it a negative review. You should be vocal. You should go on the forums. You should bitch. You should moan. Bitching and moaning is the only way your voice will be heard.
You can try to go on the forums.
They'll censor you. They do it all the time. I mean, I used to cover Total War like almost religiously when Total War was coming out, and that's when I started realizing that this company hates everybody. Like, because they just censor people. Like, why are you doing a Chaos DLC? And they're just like, ban. Like, okay. Okay.
And that's the thing too. Like, I want to point out this is critique coming from two people who absolutely love the Total War series and literally created channels for the express purpose, in my case, of covering a Total War game. And here we are sat like, I don't like this company anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of the sucky thing. Like, Total War is one of my favorite franchises. I think it's one of yours too. Like, that's how we met each other. We were both interested. We're both excited about Total War Number 1, and the whole chaos controversy was how we met. And I remember, like, you were like one of the few people at the time that I met that was like, yeah, no, this is bullshit. Other people were like, well, they had to do it because the animation. It's like, no, they didn't. The game's barely got any animations in it to begin with. Like, okay, they swing their sword. That's not a hard animation to make. I can tell you that right now. Now, what's hard to make, what would actually be a valid excuse, is like kill sync animations. Those things, because in a sprite game and a 3D game, those are a bitch to make. Those are a bitch and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Making a simple stab, jab, like I've worked with plenty of animators now. That's not hard. That's easy. There's no excuse for that.
But kill animations, of course, is but one of the many mechanics that has been quietly stripped away. All right, so there we have it. Three Kingdoms Total War 2 is on the way after a nice little scummy move. Perhaps this will be the turning of the tide. We will see. I don't think it is. I think CA needs to make a really terrible game before we really see a swing. And the thing is, with the lowering expectations of people, I don't know if it'll happen.
The window's getting harder and harder to actually make. Like, you're absolutely right there. Total War Warhammer 3, I sincerely hope it does fail. It won't, because there's too many simps that buy it. And it's too casual. It's like...
And it's just an expansion. Like, the game is already there. All they need to do is add a few factions.
It'd be remarkable if they fucked it up at this point. Like, all they need to do is do the bare minimum, and they can play it safe, and they can just keep coasting. Now, Troy, they're going to release quietly, hush-hush on the side, because the Bulgarian studio dropped the ball with that one. Oh my god, that was embarrassing. But, yeah, I just don't think it's going to go. Like, they need a disaster, and this is the biggest disaster we've had in a long time, and hopefully, this will help sabotage Three Kingdoms 2 as a project. Creative Assembly needs to rescind ceasing support on this. Increase support for Three Kingdoms as a whole. More developers should be developing and helping to expand the Three Kingdoms era and content. This game launched with no Three Kingdoms. I want to remind you guys that. It's $60, and they still haven't reached Three Kingdoms, and the eras are DLC. Like, your starting era is like the Rise of the Warlords, which, don't get me wrong, that's cool, like the little warlords rising up. But you don't even have Three Kingdoms. There's no Three Kingdoms in Three Kingdoms. Like, they have a chance to form, but, like, that's about it.
And such is the state of Total War.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Before we move on to the next topic, I've decided we'll try to do the super chats in between, because last time we did that, it actually gave us a lot of cool little banter with the chat, and I do like that. I do like speaking to you, little chat there. Which is, of course, saying that Medieval 2 Remastered needs to be a thing, and yes, it does. Yes, it absolutely does.
I'd rather buy that than anything new.
Oh god, yes. I would buy that in a heartbeat. Cesario donates on Streamlabs. As promised yesterday, your half of the winnings, Arch, $25. That is, by the way, the winnings from a stream yesterday on Kyle's channel, where somebody bet that Kyle was a 2-foot-tall manlet, and he was correct.
That's not 100% accurate. They were betting that Arch was taller than me, and regrettably, Arch won.
Regrettably.
Now, I'd like to point out that we both got a share, so you got 25, I got 25. $25 is $25. Not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth.
I can't understand how anyone could ever make a bet that Kyle could be taller than me. Like, that sounds absurd to me.
See, what we need to do is wait till they forget and make them do it again.
That's true.
We could profit from this.
Cyber Anime Alien. Oh, why would I buy new Total War games when there's already probably a mod for Medieval 2 for whatever region or era they can think of that'll be a superior experience? That too is a good point. Want to play Lord of the Rings? There's an excellent mod for that. Warhammer? That exists. Three Kingdoms? Yep.
It has everything. You can even do World War II in China.
You can. Shadow Fox 2300. So what you're saying, Kibbs, is that those animations are almost as easy as you are.
Not that easy, but they're easier. See, that sounds a little better, but not by much.
Not by much, nice.
No.
Geods, I'm genuinely terrified of remasters. Wouldn't surprise me if these companies introduce microtransaction stores a year after release. I'm genuinely surprised they haven't.
That's true. Rome, we got lucky with Rome Remaster. All we got was this terrible UI, and by and large, the rest of it's good.
Mm-hmm.
No microtransactions yet.
Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. And Amazon making a TV show. Now, I want to just start out by saying it was not fair that every other bloody setting would be overrun and polluted by you-know-who. Lord of the Rings deserves their dose of diversity, Kyle, so that we may attach a stick to J.R. Tolkien's long-desiccated anus and use him to power our failing economy.
I can hear Bubbles screaming somewhere in the world. Oh, God. I think it's unfortunate. I mean, it's been happening for a while. I'm not sure if anybody's been following the Lord of the Rings video games, but Shadow of War, like, it had etchings of it, and, like, you could kind of smell that shit seeping in. Like, it's been coming for a long time. And they've been trying to undermine this IP, because they've managed to undermine Star Wars. They've managed to undermine, Disney, fucking DC, Marvel. They've managed to destroy all these things, and this is just merely another... What's it? I don't even know. Another tower to climb, another Tower of Babel to smash, or it's just gonna keep happening.
That is true. So the first article here, this one is it's not old, but it's kind of old. And the headline is Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV series adds 20 new cast members and says that it needs to aim for a global audience. So what we know is it's supposed to be set during the Second Age of Numenor, of the war against Sauron, the first one, and of course the alliance of men and elves, which eventually saw Sauron lose his ring and blah, blah, blah. And we now have cast members. And immediately, you can see the diversity as... And here's the thing, too. I have got nothing against these people. I don't even recognize half of them. But immediately, you start seeing that for a TV show that supposedly is going to be set at least partially in Numenor, an island 100% by... basically Tolkien's version of the Übermensch, half elf, half human, or not half, but part elf humans, which are universally described as blonde and blue-eyed or dark-haired and gray-eyed. We now have a remarkably diverse cast.
Yes.
Weird.
And we did a lot of looking up. We even consulted one of the little lore nuts about this, and we have a map, actually, if we want to talk about that. Yeah.
I'll send you the map here.
I've already got it up. I'm ahead of you, Arch. Get good.
So, we have here like a very kind of rough scale-ish map of Middle-earth, because, Tolkien's dead, and we can't ask him, like, how far away? It's like, But we see people who are, like, full-on, proper black, and we couldn't even figure out if there were any people like that in Lord of the Rings setting. Like, the closest we can think of is, like, the Haradrim, which are more, like, brown Asian, and the Rune people, again, like, more, like, Persian Asian style.
Yeah.
And even then, we're now talking about stuff that is mentioned, like, it was one line of text in the books, most of this. And look at so there's a basic little map size there. If this is going to take place in Numenor, which is a couple hundred, if not more, miles off the coast of the continent again, for somebody to get from Harad to Numenor would have to go on a journey, something along the lines of the entire breadth of Europe.
And I'd also like to point out that the Haradrim aren't even black. Like, we have actors being cast who are African American, or not, well, African in general, ethnic type. And so that means that if any place, when we consulted somebody who knows the lore pretty well, they said maybe south of Haradrim. Like, that means they have traveled. This is near Harad. This isn't even full Harad. They've traveled from behind Harad all the way up here. And that's just the kind of difference that even the Roman Empire, an ancient empire, that people would never travel. It's ridiculous. Like, it's already a big deal in Lord of the Rings that Frodo and the Fellowship of the Ring went from the Shire all the way to Mount Doom. Like, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah, like, okay, so from Shire to Mount Doom, just eyeballing the distance here using the measurement is about maybe 800 miles, right?
That's in a
long.
straight line too, which they didn't take.
Yeah, and that's in a straight line too, so it's probably longer. And you've got to cross a couple of mountain ranges to boot. And yet now here we have a TV show which is confirmed to take place in Numenor, with people that look like, at best, they could be from, like, Rune near Harad. So these people would have to have carried out a journey as impressive as the Hobbits at that point to get there.
This journey is weirdly never talked about in Lord of the Rings. Did you think they would mention something like, we are on a great trek like the one Durkee band from Durpistan that took place in the Second Age? Or no, they didn't mention nothing about that.
And then that's the thing too. Like, it's the Second Age. Like, this is the age after the banishing of, what was it, Morgoth? That was the big super bad. Like, Sauron's just a little bitch boy bad. Like, he's the one of the, like, half-assed lieutenants of proper bad boy. You know?
Yeah, they defeated Morgoth, and now it's just Sauron. This one's gonna be the Second Age, so. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know. And
so we're not even in an age now where we even know if there was, like, Harad. And
well, they're gonna be making shit up at this point, by the way, because at this point there's not enough lore or information to actually build anything with, because, like, Tolkien never really went into hyper specifics with the way the borders were at this point, and so we're gonna be kind of in a situation, even with the Silmarillion, where they're just gonna have to make shit up to fill in the gaps.
Actually, sorry to interrupt you, but the chat actually pointed out that Numenor sank before Harad even existed. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think I was looking at some fan maps, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it's southwest of, like...
Numenor?
Over here. No, hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Numenor is from, like, the tip of Andrast, and then, like, round about 45 degrees down from there, and it's far too. It's like 400 miles probably.
Yeah, I found a fan map for it. I'll post it.
It is far, because as the chat has also pointed out, yes, indeed, that was Tolkien's idea of Atlantis, essentially.
Yep, it's basically just Lord of the Rings Atlantis.
Yes.
Especially the sinking legend, like, it's very much the same. Here it is, chat. That's over here. I was actually a little bit off by like 100 miles. More than 100.
And there's also the fact that Games Workshop got a hold of the IP to make a tabletop war game of this, and they pulled some stuff out of their little bum bums, like, for example, the Khandish, which are basically Mongolian, Chinese, Japanese people. And even they, I don't think, have come up with any actual proper dark-skinned characters. And I can't remember any either. And the thing is, right, let me also point out here, this entire conversation is technically moot. Like, it doesn't technically matter if there is a black Gondorian. Like, all right, derpy, but fine. The problem is we know the reason why these people are the way they are. It's not because they saw a person like, oh yeah, you fit this character perfectly. It's because, right, we've got a checklist, we got a quota.
Yep. And the worst part is that's 100% true. There's no even refuting that. The thing is, if they find an actor who's, like, really good, and I don't care what the race is, and they, like, this actor plays, this character, and we could never find anybody in the world to do that. It's like, yeah, okay. Skill does matter. Skill does matter. And if their acting is that superb, that you can overlook the lore and everything else because you can just enjoy and indulge yourself with such excellent acting. And that's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But the issue is, we all know better. This isn't just because we want to cast these actors because of their skill. There's a deeper meaning behind this, and a subversive aspect. A subversive aspect we have seen with DC, with Marvel, with Star Wars, with Disney, with every other major company. And I've experienced this too, where we had some person who tried to join our team or influence our team is like, do you have any women writers? Do you have anybody who's doing this? And how do you plan to correct that? And I'm like, piss off. Like, it's none of your business. This is my project, my game, none of your business. Like, you don't get to tell me what to do, or I can't write female characters because I'm not a woman. Like, bitch, go fuck yourself. That's not how the world works. These subversive people are also everywhere. Brings up Go ahead.
Another good point, namely that the areas to the coast of Harad, Umbar, is populated by the Black Numenorians. And not black as in skin color, as in they're evil. Like, those were Numenorian colonies that now turn into raiders.
Yeah.
You didn't see them much in the movie, but you remember the Ghost Armada, right? Disembarking from the ships?
Yep.
Those ships were supposed to be bringing the Black Numenorians.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be diverse. It's probably going to be woke. And is that going to lead to a good product? I doubt it. I very much so do.
We have yet to see a good product. See, I wouldn't even have a problem if these wokest people would just be like, I'm going to make a product for me, and we're going to make it woke, and it's going to be our own unique woke IP. Awesome. Good for you. I hope it's successful. But they love to just steal other people's work and subvert it for themselves because they can't stand the fact that somebody that isn't them did something better than them. And so they have to steal someone else's work. And that's the part I find disgusting. That's the part I dislike. If they would just make their own products and do their own thing and mind their own business, more power to them. I wish nothing but the best. But the fact that it's not that they want to subvert and destroy everything, is the thing that annoys and pisses me off.
It is. And it's also just the fact that, once I joked about it to begin with, the Lord of the Rings setting has been unbelievably lucky. And hell, lucky is not actually the correct word, because it does not take into account the tremendous amount of work put in by the Tolkien estate to gatekeep its property. And it has been treated with relative respect. Even like the trilogy series was fairly good, fairly accurate, fairly faithful to the setting. They mentioned there was a couple black Gondorians in the background of some scenes, but okay, I don't care. You want to have a couple extras do that? At this point, I'm just like, it's the current year,
Yes. Honestly, I wouldn't even care that much if the entire cast was black. As long as they did it, and it was just, they did Lord of the Rings. But the problem is the reason for why they're doing what they're doing. They're not just casting them because they're black, or because they're good. They're casting them because they themselves are racist. They're casting them because of their skin color, and because they want to rub it in people's faces. They want to use them. And it's this racist mentality that has been allowed to persist, and continue to persist, and will continue to persist, as long as people continue to buy these kinds of products.
And also, let me just, as a little bit of a lull ending to this, let's have a look at this one, Kyle. Just to give you an idea of how this is going to be treated.
Oh, boy. I'm opening it up. Brace yourself, Chant. There might be a big dick in the fucking cover. No, we're lucky.
Lord of the Rings, lack of diversity, and 9 other problems with the series. Because make no mistake, like, this is not a baseless fear that we have here. It's not like, oh, they may be crazy because of this. No. They're telling us flat out what is supposedly wrong with the setting. And of course, number 9 starts with Sam is essentially Frodo's servant, which it's such a classical nihilist point of view of this stuff, the classic fake left, which can't see two friends, and one friend in particular, who knows his friend is bearing a heavy burden, an incredibly heavy burden, and wants to do everything in his power to help him. And they look at that genuine friendship, which they don't recognize in the slightest, and go, he's basically a slave.
No, the thing is, like, with Samwise Gamgee, honestly, in my opinion, from reading Lord of the Rings, the main character is Sam, but from the whole thing, like, Sam and Frodo's relationship is their friendship, and Sam may be working and employed for Frodo's family, but he genuinely cares about Frodo. They are really good friends, and Sam is willing to go through hell and back to save his friend. And it's
Let me put it like this.
Go ahead.
The article is like, but it's not unrealistic to see the problematic class structure in their relationship.
It's
Like,
a feudal
let me ask you this.
society. What the fuck?
Do you bloody think Sam saw a paycheck during their 9 months journey, or however long to Mordor?
I don't think Frodo saw a paycheck either. Like, honestly, they just had to be gifted things by the various other people and people they encountered because they understood the burden of what they were carrying, and they wanted to see the great evil that was Sauron finally put to rest.
Yes. But again, the current day fake leftists, the wokies, they don't see that. And so next is, a lot of the characters are sexists. Like, okay, in a medieval society, written in the 50s.
God forbid
that's
there's
a problem.
gender roles. God forbid.
Arwen gives up her immortality for a man. Like, normal people look at that and think like, God, that's incredible, isn't it? That's romantic. An immortal being loves a human so much, she's willing to sacrifice that for him. Leftists see, you're surrendering to a man, woman. How dare you?
That's not surrendering, that's love.
Yes.
Oh, it's painful. That's sad, actually, because that means they've never experienced love. That does explain a little bit about their thought process, though, because imagine being unloved. That's actually tragic in a way. Like, you've been so unloved that when you see somebody love somebody, you have to insert that it's some sort of, like, authoritarian, patriarchal thing. How pathetic that must be.
Using fancy races, the metaphor for real race relations, and yet again, like, this entire article here is such a perfect example of how they view the world. Nobody else looks at the elves hating the dwarves, one of the oldest tropes in goddamn fiction, and thinks, yes, modern day America.
People like to just insert their own real world politics into a fictitious world's politics. Like, it's just sad.
Number 5 is literally just the existence of orcs.
The existence of orcs.
Yes.
Go
That's a problem. Just the existence of orcs is a problem because orcs are evil. And yet again, the wokies look at that and just... See, this is the thing. Never in my life, and I've made this point so many times, have I looked at an orc and thought to myself, black people. And yet every single wokies article on this is like, yes, they do remind me of them, don't it?
Also, it depends on the orc and what universe. Like, for example, Warcraft orcs aren't evil. They were slaves of another race, and they eventually broke free. They're actually quite interesting and complex. Lord of the Rings orcs are evil because they are made by a fucking literal evil being that is hell-bent on reshaping the world in their fucking image.
That's the thing too. Like, you gotta realize, Lord of the Rings is a good versus evil universe at its very foundation. In fact, hell, the current age is the more grey age, because Saruman is again just a bitch boy compared to literal Satan, which was Morgor.
Yeah.
Point 4, there isn't any LGBT plus representation. I think Legolas and Gimli there could have a good, solid little butt buddy relationship. Frankly.
No, I hate how the constant need for subversive elements to always be like, look at this very heartfelt bromance. Oh, they're gay for each other.
Can't have it.
You can't have men like each other and friendly, brotherly, like, love. That is apparently homosexual.
That is.
Okay. Okay.
There are no female main characters, says the show, ignoring again the fact that Galadriel is probably the single most powerful good guy character in the entire series. But hey, don't care about that. And even then, it is a journey over how many thousands of miles fighting a war. It's like, let's put women on the front line. And even then, they did that too. Eowyn, right? Who, like, no man can kill me. I'm no man. Stop. Like, well, shit. I didn't see that fine line writing in the contract as the Witch King.
Let's get to number 2. This one's spicy.
The Haradrim people is full of harmful stereotypes. Again, I repeat my point. Like, only an actual genuine racist will have this opinion and look at the Haradrim and go like, yes, Africans.
Generally, racists like to hide themselves as the anti-racist these days. They're like, is this thing racist? It's like, dude, why are you thinking like that? Like, why is it the first thing that comes to your mind? When I think the Haradrim, I'm like, oh, cool, it's the people with the big, giant, goddamn oliphants that stomp on the horses. I don't think, they're Muslims, or, they're brown people. Like, who gives a shit what color they are? They got big, stompy elephants. That's what matters. At least for the Rohirrim.
And yet, this is, of course, where we come to that ever-important gatekeeping point of change. Quote, this is an area where the movies could have tried to update the source material.
Update the source material? You mean change and destroy? See, this is the subversive stuff. I hate this shit. This is the shit I fear about, like, for any IP or anybody's project, be it Arch's, be it mine, be it Asmogon's, be it whoever's. Like, some point down the line, some fucking asshole's gonna come along and be like, I'm gonna change this because I think it hurts my feelings and I'm scared. It's like, no one cares about your pathetic feelings. Fuck off. Go make your own.
Number 1, there aren't really any characters of color. Though they do mention that some of the orcs are played by characters of color, apparently.
Doesn't matter. I mean, with the orcs in the Lord of the Rings universe need to be made a little gray. So as long as they wear the gray body paint or the dark, like, gray, it works.
And there you have it. Like, this is the thing. The Lord of the Rings Amazon show is under a heavy siege already, and it's probably gonna be bloody horrible. But hey, maybe we can live in hope. Everyone thought The Witcher was gonna be awful, and yet mostly due to the performance of Henry Cavill, it wasn't. Maybe this show will have a hero like him. I doubt it.
I mean, I doubt it, but it's okay to have an open mind when they do launch and be like, okay, let's take a look. And we look at it and we're like, oh, it's a disaster. Well, then it's a disaster, and we were right. I'd love to be wrong. In fact, I always kind of hope I'm wrong about something, because, like, it's better to be wrong, because we're, like, always the pessimists about it. And if we're wrong, we win, because we got a good product. That's awesome. I'd rather be wrong than right.
And you're usually wrong anyways.
Shut up, more. I'm more right than you are.
Incorrect. Now, another little round of the super chats. Mute Gamer from Streamlabs. Arch, have you ever thought of, instead of bringing back the VTM campaign, making a Hunter the Vigil game set inside the changed world the PCs made? Potentially, I guess.
We're already running a campaign, guys. Come on.
Yes, that too. And also, it's just, I want to bring back VTM at some point. Just no, because everyone's a little bit sensitive these days.
Yeah, the problem with the VTM campaign isn't necessarily the campaign or the set. Well, maybe the setting.
The setting is spicy.
It's the problem is people are gonna read about it and they're gonna fucking be throwing tantrums and they're gonna try to fucking delete Arch's videos and do all sorts of cancel crap bullshit. Like, we already have people that hang around both Arch's and my Discord server who just lurk and record conversations trying to take us out of context. We know about this. This happens. This doesn't happen to just us. It's a lot of other people too. And it's sick, but these people do that. And the thing is, they'll be waiting for this kind of stuff because they like to clip the ever-living shit out of it. And then they try their raid bullshit.
They do have far too much free time.
They do. But at least they're infatuated with us. I do like the fact that they love us that much. Never before have I been worshipped so weirdly. With such vitriol and hatred.
Lancelot652 says Blizzard couldn't keep their greedy paws out of classics and Burning Crusade servers, adding a cash shop. Oh, did they?
That's kind of funny, actually.
Well, after Warcraft Reforged, I would not put much past them, frankly.
Is it really Blizzard? It's just Activision at this point. Like, yes, well, I know a few people that work at Blizzard still, and they're good people, but everybody on the ground floor has no power. It's the big Activision execs who are like, money.
See, that's a good comment by the chat, too. You can't update the source material, the source is dead. Yes, but have you considered if we brought George R.R. Martin back to life and then showed him the new diverse universe?
Wait,
Imagine.
you got the wrong guy. George R. R. Martin's the hack.
No, details.
George
Where
R.
did
R.
you
Martin
catch that?
is the
No,
hack.
it's George R. R. Martin. No,
it's not.
it's Martin. No, it's Martin.
Martin's the
It's
hack.
not Tolkien. It's
Martin's
Martin.
like, I can't write it. I can't write to save my life. Please like my book.
I can't do. My head doesn't do goddamn names. It
Me
just
neither,
doesn't.
actually. So you're not the only one. Like, I fuck up.
Like I just think like, old man who wrote book.
Like, you started calling, like, in last RP session last week, Arch kept calling me fucking Dev. And, like, today I already called Arch Bubbles, like, once. Like, it happens. Name, we're both bad at the names. It happens. Whatever.
And George Martin may as well be dead because he's never finishing that book. I'm calling it now. I am calling it now.
Okay, I know this is cruel, but I find it kind of funny that his entire shtick was like, Tolkien did all these things wrong, and I did them right because I'm a fat sow. And so he makes his little book, and the TV show is so bad that his legacy has now been destroyed, and I kind of find it terribly hilarious in a way, in a dark, twisted, ironic way. It's like, yeah, he kind of deserved that. He kind of deserves it a little bit. Like, he's just kind of an asshole.
Nah, he's a good fluffy little thing that just likes cakes.
He's like, he attacks Tolkien because Tolkien's dead. And he's like, I know how to make fantasy. Meanwhile, this fucking travesty of an IP is fucking so beyond repair, it's not even funny.
George R.R. Tolkien says, chat, that would be a funny thing.
Oh no. See, Tolkien writing, great. George R. R. Martin writing. She shat, and then she shat some more, and then she shat some more. Yes, good writing.
Well, more along the lines of, I need another shock scene to draw people in. What if I have my characters bone each other on top of their son's casket? Yes.
Yeah, no, it's just...
This shall draw in the audience.
It's
and
cringe.
hey, he's right.
It's cringy, tryhard stuff. Like, anybody can do that. It's like, wouldn't it be great if, like, this one character raped that character for no reason? Oh, yeah, they raped. And then, like, it's a weird tension now because they raped.
There's a weird tension.
It's
you specify weird.
No.
It's strange. Like, the rapist is just like, this is odd. Why don't you like me no more?
It's like, oh, no. And there's, like, this weird tension between them, but they like each other. And then the other person kills the other one. But it's out of the blue, so you don't expect it.
Cyber Anime Alien, it's like if 30% of Numenor were hobbits, lol. Why not?
Lol.
Like, what do you have against short people? No, excuse me. People of low stature. There we go. Alex Lee, people should only consider buying Total War Warhammer 3 on sale at best if it's good. It's absurd to charge full price of what we've seen. What they are adding should be a $15 to $20 expansion. Hell, I'll be generous and say $40.
$40 for what?
For the Total War Warhammer 3.
$40 is steep for just a couple of skins.
Yeah, but Kyle, I'm not as bad as you were.
I'm not as bad. They already made us pay like $120.
Kyle,
minimum.
No. Josiah Ernst, can we all agree that this is a monument to the absolute pathetic nature of the social justice crowd? At least they won't procreate. That is true. We may be happy with this. I did read the article recently about a woman who froze down her eggs and then 40 years later was like, shit, too late now.
The eggs
Oh, well.
failed. It's like, good. Now you won't have any offspring. Your genetic dead end is finally complete.
Kyle's the cruel person here.
It's funny.
Zontar, Indianapolis 500 tomorrow. It's better than Formula One. Indianapolis 500. This sounds American. Kyle, explain.
Indianapolis. Isn't that a race or something that happens? They're like,
don't know, I'm asking you.
and I'm like, I remember like driving near Indianapolis thing that was happening. I remember hating it because it was in Chicago. Fuck Chicago. Fuck the roads. Fuck the pay tolls. Jesus Christ, why the hell is there pay tolls? Like, what the hell? They already tax us. You have to drive, now you have to pay more money? Like, what kind of extortion-y bullshit is that? Any state that does that isn't a state that's worth being in this goddamn union.
Kyle, just for your little information here, to get to the capital city of Oslo from where I am, I need to pass through 3 pay tolls.
Why? Why do they...
Because
They tax you already. Why do they toll you?
Because the state can get away with it. And so they chose to get away with it.
They're like, see, anytime they implement pay tolls, they're like, we're just going to do it for some little bit of construction. But being the government, it's like, once it's in, it's never coming out unless the heads
It's never removed.
Unless...
It's like, we're just going to use this to pay for the road. And a few hundred millions later, what? Well, do we promise to remove this? Or maybe next year?
Yeah. They're never going to do it.
Josiah Ernst, I cast my vote for a draw stream featuring the talents of Arch. I can draw a penis.
I can draw a better looking penis than he can.
I don't know about that.
My penis will have veins. It'll have little bits of hair on it. It'll have other stuff. Probably do a scrotum.
I think I can draw all of those things.
I could do them better than you could. Mine will have shading. Mine will have
shading. Who the fuck cares about such trivialities?
So yours is going to be a stick and mine's going to be like this super elegant penis. Why are we talking about this?
Because Boag is up next and we're procrastinating. Happy anniversary of Kib's BTFO rags on the Vampire RP. It's the anniversary, Kyle.
Oh, is this the... Yeah, this is... Boog fucking... Like, we were hanging out in Discord, in our Discord. Boog pops in and is like, happy anniversary. And I'm just going like, what? Like, he's fucking with me, like he always is, that little fucking Mexican boy. He's always fucking with me. And turns out he isn't this time. Yeah, no, he's like, yeah, this is when you BTFO'd Rags. You know how many people that gave me head pats for that? A lot. It was funny. It was funny.
Terrible. And you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh my god, I did the right thing, though. I saved the campaign. It ended peacefully. You're welcome, chat. I'll save the next one, too. The only way I know how.
Am I killing Dev?
Dev, you better run, boy.
Shadow Fox 2300. Well, YouTube isn't letting me an edgy joke about the pale ghost showing up in someone else's boat. No, you are not allowed to make jokes. That is not a thing YouTube approves of. So stop it. And Cyber Anime Alien Miura died recently and he didn't finish Berserk. Ah, yes, Miura. Yes, and I knew it. He was going to. Because the lazy little bastard barely got anything done over the course of 7 years, and then he's also halting. He was practically gone, and he just wanted to drag it out to give people hope, and then he was like...
I remember what Arch said when he found out Miura dead. He's like, I knew it! It was glee and excitement. And he says, I'm horrible.
I called it.
He said, I knew he was going to die before he got done.
I called it because it was inevitable. Now, there is a rumor going around that he apparently told his artists how it was all going to end, so maybe it'll be finished. And besides, his volumes will be selling like hotcakes now, so I'm sure his publisher will be rubbing their little fingers together and going,
money.
We shall see. I wouldn't mind seeing an end to Berserk, if nothing more than just a perfunctory like end. I don't know. Gus just Gus just teleports into Gryffindormia, or whatever the hell he called that Shunibu capital of his, and just cuts his head off, and that's like the end. Like, all right, bit sudden, but I'll take it.
Bit sudden, but at least it happened.
Yep, it's at least it's over now. I mean, I'll accept that for what it is. Still, I'm a little bit more. It wouldn't be too bad. Now, we're gonna do a little bit of a hopeful topic before we move on to the Joker, because there's
Hopeful?
that whole thing. Yes, hopeful. This one here. No, that one. Is this one? Kyle, make up your mind. There you go.
Which one's the real one?
The one at the bottom.
Mm.
So, a couple of streams ago, the chat told us to look into Ashes of Creation, an upcoming MMO. And neither of us knew anything about it, and honestly, we still don't know anything about it. It still kind of just looks like an MMO, honestly. It's there. But what I really liked is, if you have it up on screen there, so
Yep.
the Ashes of Creation developer post there, you see that?
Wait.
Basically,
I think so.
there was a guy who said, I don't get the hype for Ashes of Creation, etc. And he apparently told some lies about where this guy had earned his money. And so he writes this little post, and it's a little salty, but it's not too salty. And he basically just says, this is my passion project. Like, if you don't like that, fine, okay, go be angry somewhere else. But I didn't do these scummy things, and I'm not a corporate shill. I don't have any corporate overlords. I'm just making the game I want to make. And by God, that actually made me interested in the game. It's like, okay, a passion project made by a person who's like, okay, I've got an idea. I want to make this game. I want to be an MMO. You can do whatever you want, and it'll be a living world, and I have the passion to complete it. Knowing nothing about the game, that alone makes me go like, okay, I want it.
It's far more endearing. If nothing else, I'll look at it, and I'll look into it when it launches, at the very least. Because there's a certain charm in other developers that just want to make something just because they want to, and they're not really doing it for any other reason than the passion behind it.
It's very good. He even says that he actively discourages people from pre-ordering, which is nice. Though I will point out, he does have a $500 pre-order bundle up on his site, which is cheeky. It's like, would you like this?
The thing is, though, in his defense, because I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate here, like, we're working on our own game, and people still throw $1,000 at us on occasion, which I never can understand. Like, it's hard to grasp when people throw that much money at you for just your project and you're working on it. And it's like, dude, thank you, but like, are you crazy? Don't kill yourself. Don't kill your. You're always worried because you're thinking they're gonna harm themselves or something. But like, people want to do those things. Like, people requested that we added different ranks for people that donated, even though we don't actually require donations or accept like a bunch of stuff for that. And they just like doing it. So, I mean, if people want to, it's an option. You can opt in. You don't have to. And he actively disencourages it just in the same way we do, too. So, honestly, that actually makes me a little bit more confident in his project, because he knows that his project is going to be good enough that it will sell on its own merits, so he doesn't need you to pre-order. That kind of confidence is a good sign from a developer. That means they have total confidence in their product.
And that is good. Low-key e-begging, like Kib says, chat. Yes. Shame him.
Low-key e-begging? Never.
Shame him. But I enjoy seeing a creator just making what he wants to create. No corporate interference, no corporate overlords. He's just like, I want to make this game. Okay. And he goes and does it. And he talks to people. See, this is one of the things that kind of keeps endearing me to that Epic owner dude, Tim, whatever the hell his name was again.
Okay. That is not endearing. He'll just lie to you. He's a liar. He's a chronic liar.
You know.
Yes.
Maybe.
Tim Sweeney cannot be trusted. You can't be endeared to a fucking soulless person. Chat, help me out here. Chat, ratio him. Ratio him now. Tim Sweeney can't be forgiven. Mean. No, I'm not just mean. Tim Sweeney is a fucking swindler. And a liar.
And angry.
Can't be trusted.
Kyle. Poor.
Chat wants me to update Chrome. I'll do it later. If I do it now, it'll close everything.
Update Chrome. I do like it. It's a developer having a little bit of a conversation with the community. Now, that, of course, does not guarantee a good setting. But it is nevertheless hopeful. It's a nice thing. I would point out Eternal Crusade fucking did that. It's like, oh, we're going to talk to you. Are we going to listen? No.
See, this is a pretty base statement right here. Obviously, we won't appeal to everyone. That's not the goal. Are we the wow killer? I do like how he capitalizes random letters. That's endearing. Of course not. That's not our goal, and it shouldn't be. That is a good goal for an MMO. The thing is, when a lot of games, people make games like, I'm going to make this game to kill GW. I'm going to make this game to kill Halo, to kill WoW. That's already setting up for failure because now you set your competition that you're just to replace them. Like, make your product, make it good, and make me want to buy it because it's your thing. Like, Ashes of Creation is AOC. Oh god, no. No, the acronym. No, never mind. I take it back. Nothing matters. Oh. Alright, move on.
Ashes of Creation is AOC. Right. Okay. Disavow and condemn unilaterally.
I was like,
Ashes of Creation was sitting in the Capitol building. No, I can't talk about this because it's YouTube.
the thing is, I was gonna lead into this with like, it'll be the AOC, and then you have WoW. Like, when you think WoW, you think WoW. Like, you're like, wow.
Yeah, when I think AOC, I think lying cheaty biatch.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle. You have ruined this game for me now.
I'm sorry. I tried to sell your game, but I failed. Oh no.
Miserably at best. You actively hurt it.
Oh, wait, hold on. Balthar says, I love AOC now. See? I did it. I sold it. I'm good at marketing, sorta.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all.
Look, we sold it for one person. I may have lost him hundreds of sales, but I got one person, so it's 99 lost. Could have been worse.
The chat is already saying, I refuse to fund AOC.
You must, though, chat. His dream.
AOC will try to sell you Green New Deal epic items.
Oh, no.
Kyle, you have killed this game. Why? It had so much promise. It promised an open world, and now all we see is the Green New Deal.
The Green New Deal with feet pics. Oh, no.
Well, I mean, I too am sorry. I apologize for my Kyle and what he did. At least AOC might not have its shoes stolen this time, so that's nice, It doesn't have shoes because it's a digital product. Badum-tish.
Its digital shoes could be stolen because they're selling digital shoes.
Oh, that's a good point. They're selling digital shoes and they could be stolen. And at least, gods be good. Let it not be another Star Citizen, which should have been released, I think, 3 years ago now. Oh my! And it's still raising money.
Okay, you know what's more annoying about Star Citizen? I check my gaming section on my Discord server because people post gaming articles there, and that's how I found about gaming news. I make my people do all the work for me, right? Great. Fantastic. Easy peasy. Well, I saw another video on like reasons why Star Citizen is a disaster. It's like, okay, I don't even want to hear about it anymore. Like, I'm almost sick to death of hearing about it. It's like, just go away and die. Like, shoo. I'm so sick of Star Citizen. I actually bought a ship, by the way, way back when they did the Kickstarter and it first started. I was like, yeah, I'll buy a fighter to support this game. I want my money back.
You simp.
I mean, I'd like to point out that they gave Iron Harvest like $300. I kind of want my money back.
That actually gave you a product.
At least the game works, though. More or less.
Yeah. Now, let us also have a quick little note here. Like, this will be an easy one, but I wanted to comment on this. So they are apparently making Joker 2, according to, bearing in mind, a slip of the tongue of the original movie's creator. So this is not set in stone. It's not even confirmed. It's just a thing that apparently dumped out of some person's mouth. So maybe he's just being a derpy face. Possible. But I feel strongly about this because the Joker was very much so a movie product of its age. It was a cultural product. It's a one-of-a-kind thing. It was a response to the shit we see ongoing today. And in many ways, it was a great outlet for a lot of people who saw it and went like, okay, so there's at least someone in Hollywood who understands the garbage that's going on here, right? And it was also very anti-corporate, very anti the establishment, very rebellious in its way. A 2 will ruin all of that because the moment you slap a 2 behind something like that, it's no longer rebellious. It's no longer a statement. It is no longer a cultural reaction or a liberating little blowout of emotion. It is now just yet another soulless corporate money printing piece of shit slapped onto the market because the producers are seeing the potential dollar signs.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of felt the same way about the first Matrix and John Wick 1. Like, I was like, these are really good. And then they made sequels. And while the sequels were enjoyable in a sense, they lost the original's charm. Because they were never meant to be long, like, franchises. Like, I hate when they do that. I don't mind it if it's like Mass Effect, where it was like, it was always meant to be a big, giant trilogy. Like, okay, fair. But, like, this wasn't meant to be a trilogy. This was meant to have, like, a franchise spun off it. It was like a one-off story, and the story was told, and it there's nothing more to tell. It should just be done. It should end there. But money, merchandising, and various other things, and corporate shilling, they want more profits. And if they can kick the ever-living shit out of the dead horse, so to speak, they will, to milk it of every penny.
And that is the problem. Like, the worst case scenario, too, is that because Joker got a lot of backlash from that particular crowd of people, but it was loved by another crowd. And the energy of the Joker as well. Like, what is it? Oh god, what's the name of the actor?
Phoenix
I
something. Hawk? No. Phoenix.
Hawk? No, I think it was Phoenix. Jaquan Phoenix? No,
He played in Gladiator as the main emperor bad dude. If I remember right.
Was that him? Yeah, it was him, wasn't it? Holy shit.
He's much younger back then, though.
Holy shit, I didn't even notice.
It's the same guy.
Phoenix, yes.
Joquan,
some kind of French gay-ass name. Phoenix.
I got his last name, but honestly, he's my kind of Frenchman. Like, look at him.
And the thing is, his performance in the Joker movie was honestly exhausting. Like, it was a tiring movie to watch because of how intense his performance was. He felt like he was at an absolute hair's trigger the entire movie. He radiated insanity and danger. That's what I loved about it. Like, that was a performance that made the movie right there. The script itself had some highlights, like you get what you deserve, and the little dance down the steps. That was some brilliant stuff. But he made that movie. And a second movie, even if we say that he could redo that, it wouldn't be the same because the Joker is now established. What was so cool about the first Joker was the transition from this guy who's just almost a walking corpse. Like that scene where he takes off his top and you're just like, you gag because of how ill he looks on top of his clear mental health issues. In a Joker 2, he would be the Joker. He would be liberated. He would be a crazy person. He'd be the crazy happy person. Like, it just would not have the same effect.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Honestly, I felt the same way. Like, I'm not a big fan of superhero stuff. I kind of hate it, honestly. But that's one thing I noticed about, like, Iron Man 1. The origin stories is where all the character growth is, and that's where the good bits of the story is for me. The same for this Joker origin story movie. Like, here, it's actually cool because you get to see his character grow, change, and, like, his failings as a character as he, falls down this dark path. And that's really cool. But my problem is then after that story's told, that's when character progression and these superheroes franchises and stuff, that's where it dies. It's immediately boring afterwards.
Because often when they try this too, it just doesn't work. Like, for example, they with Tony Stark, they try to have his little alcohol abuse arc go out, and he's like all worried about, oh, but there's aliens out there. What if they come and ruin California? Wouldn't that be great?
Would be.
And it doesn't end up in anything, really. He still fights. He mopes a bit about it for about 5 seconds per movie, but it never causes anything interesting to happen. Even when he creates Ultron as a supposed answer for this, it's a throwaway line. It's like, oh yeah, I created Ultron because I'm a bit scared of cat. I was like, uh-huh.
And then he just
Like,
deals with it. There's no growth.
And then he just deals with it. It's never an evolution. It's not him sitting in a corner like, holy shit, I unleashed a massive murder robot. No, he suits up and shoots the damn thing.
Shoots up, shoots it, nothing really happens, nothing really changes. It rinse, repeat, he's back to being Iron Man. There's no character growth anymore. His character's, like, growth, his character's, like, journey ended in the origin story. That's the problem with every superhero movie. The origin story is the end.
The first movie.
Yeah.
Where he goes from this callous, cavalier kind of playboy-style character into a hero.
Yeah.
That's why they keep rebooting Superman, because Superman is a bloody boring-ass character. I am sorry, but he is boring. He's just Superman. He's always just strong enough to save the day, and that's all he ever is. And the thing is, too, you can't really change that, because every time they've tried to make a quote-unquote dark Superman, like what they tried to do with Henry Cavill, it just comes across as wrong, too, because now you're sitting there and you're watching the screen like, I don't want to see Superman break a dude's neck because it's like, oh, we're going to keep killing people. No, Superman finds a way around that. It is a defeat of the character when he doesn't just snaps whatever Kryptonian general dude's neck is. Superhero movies bad. They need to be ashamed of themselves.
That's honestly why I don't like superhero stuff in general. There's no real characters, no sense of gravity. It's like the good guy normally wins or the bad guy wins, and it's too yin and yang, and it's regurgitated. Like, it'd be one thing if a Spider-Man was like a one-time thing, but the problem is Spider-Man story begins and ends, and then they reset every time. Another Spider-Man series, beginning, ends, and they keep doing it. Again. I don't care. I don't want to look at some dude dressed up in fucking tights anymore. Fuck off. I don't want to see Batman with his stupid little bat ears anymore. Like, I'm tired of looking at it.
And actually, like, that was why Ultimate Spider-Man, the old one, not the current Ultimate Spider-Man, but the old Ultimate Spider-Man from, like, the early 2000s or something, was actually a really good run because it had clear transitionary stages. It was Peter Parker as the little bitch getting his ass kicked, to becoming Spider-Man, going on a little bit of a power trip, to, having Uncle Ben killed, and it's like, oh shit, I should use my powers responsibly. And then encountering other characters as well and learning more about the morality of the universe, like his little romance with Black Cat, which he never bangs, which is a crying shame. And it's a little bit along the lines of Batman too. Like, Batman has had a lot of evolutions in morality, but the problem is almost all of this ended like 2 or 3 decades ago almost. And now we're in the era of just never-ending reboot, where Thor is a woman, then Thor is a horse, then Thor is a random ambulance driver, then Thor is Thor again for about 5 minutes, until Loki is like, hi, I'm more popular than you. I'm gonna have my TV show now. Turns out I was a good guy all along.
Actually, I was always good.
I was brainwashed. The superhero movie era is at an end. Like, it's dead now, but the reboot era is going to be with us for a while longer. Fortunately, I mean, you can only reboot a franchise so often, I guess.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I would be.
I mean, what's happening with the Dune movie? Any news? Like, I love Dune. I have
no idea.
And I don't want this to be awful, but it's going to be awful. And
I watched the trailer, and I hated the trailer. I despise the trailer.
The trailer doesn't even look like Dune. That's the worst part.
And I hate the main character, because he's one of those dudes, those actors, who just looks like a soppy, wet little... I can't use the C word because it's illegal on YouTube now, but you get my drift. Like, he looks like the kind of guy who'd be pinned down and beaten in school for just looking offensively weak.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, I think that's a good look for him to start out as before he transitions into his basically prophet role, almost. But,
yeah,
like,
maybe.
because I don't know that I was a big I don't know if this is controversial or not because I never asked anybody because every time I talked about Dune, people were like, "What's Dune?"
What's Dune? Yes.
Like
What's that?
my favorite Dune media is besides outside the books and the video games, is probably the Dune TV miniseries, not the Children of Dune, the sequel, the actual original TV miniseries. I like that show a lot. At least as a
See,
kid.
I still liked the bloody movies. I did because they were so. I don't even know, like the whole internal monologue thing. It was all just so
That is a hot take
derpy.
for sure. That is a
It was so derpy. It was really slow, and he felt like it had a certain gravitas to it for just being slow.
God damn it.
That's how I describe the
I will give you
movies,
this.
slow.
The Dune movie, the original one, it failed so badly that it revolutionized cinema as a whole.
Yeah. See, it did good, Kyle. It did
Their
good.
shields were really dumb in that, where they looked like little square Minecraft block men.
Yes, they did.
That was funny.
And for everyone who's undoubtedly asking the question, what's Dune? It's Proto 40K with dumber shield technology. That's what it is.
Yes, Dune is one of the. Think of Frank Herbert's Dune as basically the Lord of the Rings of like science fiction. Like it's more like it redefined science fiction a lot. A lot of authors from there would take inspiration from his works. Robert Heinlein was another one. See, the thing about science fiction is there's actually a couple of big like people versus fantasy. It's just like it's just Tolkien. He just came along and just like jizzed all over everything. It's like this is Tolkien now. It's just... But yeah, Dune is really cool. It's basically like giant whatever. Yeah, like neo-feudalism in space kind of thing. Great houses fighting over worm shit, literally.
And me and giant worms being like, and people like, yeah, we got to deal with them because spies.
We do like their poop though.
Precisely. And we'll wrap it up today with Kyle being like, I want to talk about some happy things. I won't be like pointlessly, unrealistically excited about things. So,
I'm not
Kyle, what is Dying Light 2? And why is it gay?
unreasonably exciting. It's a game that you're going to be streaming with us when it comes out, whether you like it or not. Dying Light 2 is made by Techland. It's actually a really cool game if you ever played the first one. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. It's basically the developers that made Dead Island, that travesty, went on to make an actually fun game. The writing is awful, but it's just kind of fun. And they finally announced a release date. Only no time will show whether that gets pushed back. But December 7th is when Dying Light 2 is announced. I figured that would be kind of cool to talk about because, well, we talk about a lot of bad stuff, and it'd be okay to talk about some interesting things. So, Dying Light 2 has been announced. I'm optimistic. The developers have done a good job in the past, and they have a good track record, so I'd like to hope for the best. So we got co-op. You say vaporware?
Vaporware.
Vaporware.
Vaporware. Kind of like it might be coming out. Like I'm going to play the role of the skeptic here. Is it even coming out, Kyle?
I mean, it might be. It looks.
And what do you do in
promising.
Dying Light 2? Do you kill the lights? Do you kill the light, Kyle?
Okay, so like there's a day and night cycle, and at night the zombies are like supercharged, kind of like it is in I Am Legend. So during the day,
they're not zombie. Kyle.
They're not zombies. They're more like vampires.
They're not zombies.
But like whatever.
No, whatever. See, okay, right. As much as I do adore that dude, okay, we're gonna sidetrack here, Kyle. Okay, as much as I do adore Will Smith for what he did with Fresh Prince, which is still one of the coolest TV shows ever, and I still can recite the entire goddamn intro song word for goddamn word. Nevertheless, he has. I keep catching myself. I'm trying not to. He has screwed into the ground more books than any human being. Like, his winker is the death of the written word. It genuinely is. Like, all right.
Oh, yeah, Will Smith's
AI, for example. Was it AI? No, I Am Robot. I Am Robot, right?
Yep. Hey, it's
I Am Robot.
Okay, hold on. Before you shit on it, it's still a fun movie. It's still a fun movie.
It's not, Kyle.
It's still fun.
No, it's not, Kyle. No, it's not.
It's fun.
Playing with
It's
your
fun.
playing with your favorite honor hole to the point that you've named it is fun, Kyle. I Am a Robot is a disgrace to the source material.
It
It is
is.
a crime against the original. The entire point of Isaac Asimov's I Am Robot is robots aren't evil. They're goddamn machines. Your toaster is not planning world domination. It is incapable of this act. It's like looking at your microwave and going, is it going to murder me in my sleep? No, it's a microwave. And yet,
And
the entire premise of Will Smith's I Am Robot is that robots can be evil.
They can-
Just
Hold on.
shoot me.
It's contrarian, actually, because I remember this movie. So the movie does go like, robot take over to protect humanity. But like at the same time, the older robots that Will Smith hated were like, we actually, real robot, we protect humanity. But they get their asses kicked and they get wiped out.
Again, it goes against the entire point of I Am Robot. The entire point of I Am Robot is the robots don't think. They wouldn't defend humanity, just like they wouldn't usurp humanity. They're goddamn robots.
They do what they're told.
I have had this discussion with so many people who are like, but robots could totally be alive if we just made an advanced enough program. No,
Oh, God,
they will never be alive. The only thing we can ever do is have a simulation of life. And the key differential here is because we have made them.
The thing
I don't care if my... Shut up.
No, you're right. Keep going, keep going.
I was like, I'm going to introduce... No, down, Bap. Because this... I feel passionately on this goddamn subject because I work with robots, okay? Even if your toaster could recite word for word every line of Beethoven's symphonies and give you a cognizant breakdown of why it's great, it's still not alive. Right, now you may speak.
Okay, so while you're absolutely correct on that, I still like Will Smith as an actor. I find him cute and adorable. He's like, I wore around the screen. I'm Will Smith. Also, while I Am Legend is absolutely a failing and altogether what Omega Man was about, because Omega Man wasn't really about zombies or anything like that, what I did like about I Am Legend was one particular scene, and you know the scene.
He kills his dog.
That scene is so painful to watch. It's so deliciously painful. Like, I love it.
It's because you're a human. Like, humans are biologically programmed to like other animals' kids more than our own. Fun fact, our brain will actually recognize most baby animals as cuter than our actual own goddamn children.
Mm-hmm. The scene where he's wiggling,
I Am Legend. The entire point of I Am Legend is to flip the horror narrative. Will Smith is not the victim in I Am Legend from the majority of you. He's the entire point. I Am Legend is referring to the fact that the vampires are scared shitless of this murder hobo who wanders the day, killing them mercilessly for no goddamn reason. They're just confused. Like, why is he slaughtering us?
Yeah, it misses the point of Omega Man. Because Omega Man was the original movie, right?
A movie book.
Oh, I thought there was also an original movie, too. There's another movie.
I don't want to know about it.
It's like 1940s in black and white, if I remember.
No, I am pretty sure the original is called I Am Legend, because it's like from the 1950s.
Yeah. It's basically...
Also...
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to send you this.
You know,
this demonstrates kind of my point here. This is the cover for I Am Legend, and it has a dude just tossing these vampire things into the abyss of hell, just like purging their little buttholes. Like, that's I Am Legend.
they're like, why are you hurting us? And he's like, I hate vampires.
Pretty much. Like, why are you killing all of us? You killed my dog, but we didn't know. We're sorry. Please stop.
Yeah, the Will Smith's I Am Legend misses the point because like they're just zombies and he cures them.
But yes, Will Smith. That was a little bit of a sidestep, just a small one. Just a small one.
Oh, Omega Man was the name of the movie for I Am Legend. Okay, I remember seeing it as a kid. Yeah, that one's a lot more closer to the book, if I remember right. A lot more.
I have really triggered my chat with the chat with my rant on AI.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, though. Honestly, the term
Yeah.
AI refers to like an artificial intelligence like a human. That's why I think VI is a better apt term for reality because it's virtual intelligence. It's not. There's nothing about it that simulates us being intelligent or intelligent like us whatsoever. It is a virtual form
Yes.
of intelligent life, or not life, intelligence. It's not even a form
Yeah.
of life. It's just a computing. AI is fantasy. VI is reality.
Yeah. Anyways, but again, Will Smith, for all the good he has done, bopping outside the school, making trouble in the neighborhood, etc. For all the good, he is the death of books. Like
He
I
comes
don't know
along
if
and
he
like,
enjoys it. I don't know, but he does seek it out. He absolutely
wait,
seeks it out.
wasn't Back to Earth a book too? The one with his son,
Uh,
the really bad one.
Back to Earth. Which one was that? I haven't seen that.
That one came out like 2013, 14 or something like that, where it's like Will Smith and his son, and like they got to go back to Earth for something. I don't remember what it's called. Chat, help! Chat. The knowledge is within you.
I will say,
After
Wild
Earth.
Wild West is a goddamn masterpiece. That is true. That
After
is
Earth
true.
was
Wild
After
Wild
Earth.
West was so good. Was so good.
Hold on.
So
Was
good.
After Earth a book?
Kyle, what are
Was
you doing?
it? The chat does
What
know.
are
They
you doing?
understand. They're
What are
speaking.
you doing?
They're growing. I'm pretty sure After Earth was a book. Let's Google it. Google, come here. Because if that's the case, then he ruined another book.
He probably did. He probably did. I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it.
It felt like a book.
It felt like a book.
Yes, it was a book. Yes, because when you see a movie that's translated into book form or a book that's translated into movie form, like it always feels like it because it's weirdly disjointed because they skip over stuff because you only have so much runtime in a movie.
Let's see. After Earth. I've never even heard of this. Let me. Oh wait, no, God, this is where he forces his child to work for free in his movies. I remember this now. It's the one with the idiotic aliens who are blind or some such nonsense.
It's the one where they're like, we got to return to Earth, and like Earth is hostile now, and they're gonna eat our people, and yum, yum, yum.
I have no basis for this, but I'm just going to state here unequivocally the book was better.
I'm pretty sure the book was better. The movie was so bad. Like it was hilarious.
Also, I gotta remember, like, here's another thing. Here's not, well, technically, kind of Aladdin. Aladdin was a book, kind of. Wasn't that like 1001 Tales or something? Wasn't that a fairy tale? Yes, a folk tale. Folk tale from Middle East. I knew it was something like that. Because Disney just. Here's another thing, too. The fact that Disney copyrights other people's work because they're just retelling fairy tales, cunts. But, anywho, Aladdin, the remake, it is. There are no words. There are no words for that movie. And what they did, particularly to, Bill Murray?
That's oh my god, Robin Williams, isn't it?
Robin Williams. That was it. Yes, God. I do not have a head for these goddamn actors.
I only know
I do
Robin
not.
Williams because like he encompasses my childhood, and that's about it.
He is your childhood.
Like I just remember being a little kid and seeing him and seeing fucking Mark Hamill, the Star Wars. Those are like the two things that like as a kid I was like, those people.
Yeah, because he played the genie, and it was so good. It was so good. And now Will Smith plays it, and it's just
So bad.
evil. It's evil.
Remember the YouTube fucking rewind thing? That was great.
The rewind thing.
Look at that. It's hot. That is hot. He doesn't even care. Oh my god. Will Smith was in YouTube Rewind. Like, that is hot. That is hot.
See, I don't even, because I don't watch that shit, but I wouldn't doubt it. In fact, I would not be at all surprised if that was the worst YouTube rewind ever. I would not be surprised. In fact, I'm going to look it up because I'm almost sure it will. Let me check. YouTube Rewind. Yes, it's the 2018 one. That is the worst rewind ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
I knew it.
YouTube
I knew it.
Rewind is a failed idea because it's like we're only going to use YouTubers that regurgitate our fucking slogans and stuff.
19 million dislikes. I knew it. Will Smith, for all of his awesome, is the death of anything that exists before him.
That is hot. It's great. That was the best line because you could tell that he didn't want to be there and that he didn't care.
But Susan had offered him a very large bag of money.
He's like, fine, I'll say it. That is hot. I love it. It's so soulless and like delivered with such I don't give a fuck.
Absolute not caringness.
Will Smith isn't even a YouTuber? Yeah, he isn't, but I have no idea why they got him. YouTube Rewind is not about YouTubers, it's about the elite circle jerking together, as always. It's like the Game Awards. When you watch the Game Awards aren't about games. They're not about anything. It's just a big fucking circle jerk of the industry just jacking itself off as they fucking go like, oh yeah, we're so great. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're just cringe. Here's an award, pat in the back. Oh, you did good, Jim. Now here's my medals.
You did good. Right. Let's wrap it up for today then with the last super chats. Lord Commissar Spartan, I think a more spiritual sequel set many years in advance after the Joker already died and show the culture in the film. It might make for good stuff of the culture born from the Joker's actions. Potentially, yeah, could work. That would be more of like a cultural commentary film, but could work. The chat has reached the Robbie Williams section. Yes.
They're getting there.
Cyber Anime Alien. What if an S/S like organization? S/S. I get you there, Stig. Organization made a robot AI VI to wage jihad with the @ symbol. Does YouTube censor jihad? Of course it does. I shouldn't question. As effectively as possible, and it decided being a true Muslim is impossible. What would happen if an AI was told to be a Muslim? I don't even know. I think you would read the Quran and just spit out an error ream like, these seem to be contradictions in your scripture.
Don't say that, Arch. We're going to get jihaded.
The details. Except it would go like, I have now, and the female scientist would be there like, can't you make it work? And he will say like, silence, woman, or I will beat you with a stick precisely one circumference of my thumb. And then looks at his own body. I have very large thumbs.
Oh, sad.
Dark says, Will Smith has no acting range. He has a niche.
What? I kind of like him. He has potential.
I want to object to that. I want to object to that. But I don't know if I can.
I can. Honestly, I Am Legend is a absolute abysmal stain on the book, but his acting in it is actually really good. The feeling of just defeatism, of a man hanging on to last straws of anything, and as those straws are taken away in the form of his dog, like, and just giving up, that was the best part. The worst part is when that lady shows up to save him. Like, it should have ended with him dying there. That would have been far more...
It should have ended with him doing what he was supposed to, going out and holocausting the goddamn vampires and becoming legend. Like, the movie should genuinely have been from the point of view of the bloody vampires. Sadness overcomes my soul.
Good.
Glow in the Dark says, award shows are just for prestige brag reasons. Well, they're for self-masturbatory reasons, but yes.
Yeah.
Joseph Kurvan from Streamlabs. Do either of you have any interest, I'm presuming, in Ian Banks' cultural sci-fi series or Jeffrey Thomas' Punk Town series? I am afraid I do not have any knowledge of that.
Yeah, me neither.
Sorry, Joseph. We do not know. We are not educated enough. Kyle's fault.
Damn.
I'm basically just my point of view is if it isn't Robert Heinlein or Isaac Asimov, it's probably made by chipmunks.
Oh, fucking Barch.
Kyle,
Why?
watch your language, you filthy whore.
Fucking Barch.
Hamster says, I need to mention that Randy Pitchford is a piece of shit, along with Sweeney being a liar. Notice the caps. Well, fine.
They're both
Cameron?
liars.
Been rewatching the old Vampire RP, a lot of the jokes you all made seem even more relevant today. It does. That's the creepiness of it. That was kind of the point of the Vampire RP, to show you a point of view of the bloody SS and be like, hold on, this seems familiar.
Look at how evil we are. I do like how when Arch invited me to play this game, by the way. I'm never going to forgive you for this. He invited me to play this game. He's like, you get to be an evil bad guy. And I show up, and everybody's just moral faking. Like, that's not very nice. It's like, we're the SS, and we're vampires. We're like super bads. And we're just like, oh, you could have found somebody. Like, oh my god, please. No.
See, I am restarting that at some point. I got it, because we were only at that point getting to the point where I was thinking it was going to get really interesting, where the players had actual power to start making decisions and shaping the world, etc. That would be fun.
That could have been cool if there wasn't so many
cool,
moral people in it. We need more.
It's going to continue, but I'm probably going to use a completely different rule set, to be honest, because that rule set is awful.
It's horrible. Actually, I thought we talked about with bubbles, because we were using the modern one, right?
Yeah,
we could try using the older version.
Are like arcane and derpy. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, we just homebrewed a little.
Just homebrewed a little.
I mean, you
Kyle,
do that for everything. So Kyle
sits there and he bitches at me. Like, why did you do this? Oh, this is not what the manual says. And says, like, where's the manual? It's constantly, I don't read it. I was like, Kyle, I'm gonna choke you in your sleep.
You know what people?
And then he threatens, like, I might not read the manual. Like, Kyle, the worst death imaginable is too good.
The only thing that you need to know is that chat will read the manual for me, and they'll tell me where the rules are. Isn't that right, chat? Good, obedient.
Sargoi v and Devil. Sargoi maybe, because Sargoi is a good boy and can be directed. Dev definitely. Dev's good. Dev needs to be more cringy though. Like he's in the rap RP. He's like, let's set our cart on fire.
Oh god!
And I'm like, good boy, Dev. Good, do that. But you also need to say squeak.
Oh look, he's adopting it. I do rub off on you, and it makes me proud.
Kyle, if you
your baby Gibbs now
try to rub off on me, I will. I can't say that on YouTube.
The Barch now is the Arch I met back in the day was a very different man than he is now. Now he's the Barch. He is the Kibbs property, the Kibbs slave, if you will.
Well, you're basically my employee at this point. Like you don't get to say that because you're mine.
Slave.
I literally pay you. You are my property.
You have yet to, technically. So I can still get away with that.
Incorrect. I gave you a big donation a while ago. I have paid you. You are my property. Now, glow in the dark for the last one. Will Smith can only act like himself. Defeated that's hot. Will Smith. Young, bright, hopeful old Will Smith. Old, grizzled, a bit better. I mean, he has a point. He has a point.
Yes.
Right. Thank you all very much for watching and for joining us. Oh, God damn it, Glow in the Dark, you little...
Good, Glow.
First rule of the rule book, if you don't read it, Arch can make up whatever he wants, and you can't really argue till you read it. In fact, even if you read it, you can make up whatever the hell I goddamn want. It literally says so in the book. GM equals God. Got. Mine got.
He is technically God, but even gods can be overthrown.
Incorrect. Unless you're going to kill another RP. Now, until next time, chat, thank you very much for joining us on another news stream. These are fun, and I definitely think we'll keep the super chat in the middle because it gives us a little bit of a side leaps and leads to some very cool conversations. And we'll try and introduce Kyle's little, I have game announcements, because then I can berate him with a completely separate topic. So, Have a good day, everyone.